Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the North East Non-League Show, sponsored by DJ Private Hire, Gateway Accountancy Services Limited, Elite Goalkeeper Academy, Motivate, Danny Lear, Plumbing and Heating, the Football Pink, and Sporting Journey North East Limited. Today is our episode 104 National League mid-season review, and tonight's guest is Dan. Dan, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Second time in a week. Second time in about 3 or 4 days.
Extra busy this morning. I know we're trying to get the 2 hour Hartlepool fans to come. One's playing football and one's busy taekwondo, I think. And other Emilio's at his football as well. So thank you so much for coming on. And like we always say, please get across to Dan's channel, DB Sports as well. Absolutely fantastic channel. So get yourselves across and subscribe to the channel as well. But tonight's all about the National League, Dan, and obviously another very competitive league as we look through. But obviously starting with our 2 teams from the North East, which is Gateshead and Hartlepool. But starting with Gateshead, sitting 4th at the moment, 38 points. I mean, overall happy at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, the absolute cut and dry of it is if you'd have offered pretty much any Gateshead fan 4th place, getting on to what we're now sort of maybe just short of halfway through the season. If you'd offered us that before the season started, I think 99 out of 100 of us would have absolutely snapped your hand off for it. Obviously got off to the great start, got some big wins. Obviously, we're hit by Crawley coming in for Rob Elliott. Playing a few games under the caretaker management, but then obviously Carl Magnier stepped in. Obviously a first time as a manager for him. He's had 1 or 2 results that probably should have been a bit better, but by the same token, seen results that he's got against likes of Sutton, Solihull, and particularly Maidenhead, where we won the games and deservedly so. Yeah,
I mean, like you mentioned there, Elliot doing well, getting the job at Crawley, and comes Magdy and Bridcut. And I think a lot of fans were kind of happy that it was another Gateshead lad who's been there, he's done the job, rather than kind of going out when you've got that group of players that's been used to playing in a certain way, obviously under a certain coach and management. So I think it was nice to kind of keep that running wide and bring in new idea, new players, and just totally changing the squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think, regardless of who were brought in, you'd have been running a risk, because I think obviously with Magnier, the risks are, obvious in the fact that, it is a first time as a manager. I know he's been a coach before, but being a coach and being a manager are, 2 pretty different things altogether almost. But then again, if you did, I know there's a few names been thrown around, Craig Mann, Jonathan Greenans, Neil Ardley. So there's plenty of names that with managerial experience, but obviously the risk you run with that is it's a totally new face for absolutely everybody. It's like for the new manager, it's a new club altogether. So I can see what we're trying to do in terms of they're trying to keep that continuity going. I could see the logic behind it. So I'm not. I know there's been a lot of criticism of Magnier late, and he'd be the first to tell you, a lot of the results and performances of late could have been better. And obviously he does have to take some responsibility for that. But then again, it has only been 6 or 7 weeks, so he's definitely not had the time to fully get his own ideas across. He'll have obviously had a look at every player that he can. I know I've been hit by injuries once again this season, but so I think every player is going to have been given a fair chance. But I think I think in the long term, once he's sort of got a squad that he can call a bit more his own, then I think that's maybe when you might start to hopefully start to reap the rewards of that.
And I think it's always good as well, Dan, when you see teams at the top there in any level of football where they keep putting the same kind of starting 11 out week in, week out, almost the same 11, and they just get so used to playing in certain positions. If you're playing down the left, who's playing in front of you, what runs are going to make, and it just makes it so much easier. Like you say, when you're getting hit by injuries and possible loans coming in and kind of mixing things up a bit, you just like that bit of getting the squad together, getting that start 11 kind of pushing on, because you always see a good run of results putting that same team out almost week in, week out, don't you?
Yeah, and it's the whole thing about continuity as well. I mean, ultimately injuries, suspensions, that kind of thing. Like a lot of that is just down to luck, which at the minute we just don't seem to be having a great deal of. But yeah, I think if there is still players that are playing in that team, your Regan Booties, your Robbie Tinklers, the Owen Aseni, Luke Cannon, players like that have maybe but for the odd game have been very regular features. That they have obviously over time developed an understanding of each other, but I think personally, in a minute, my main concern is I think we are lacking something in the final third, and I think that's maybe been reflected in the last couple of games. I think if we had obviously last season, DeJohn Brown came in and I know it took him a few games to get going, but once he did, bloody hell, man. I think maybe lacking. I think I said in my video yesterday, a striker that's going to get you a 20 plus goals a season, because I mean, Cerny Malcolm, yes, they will obviously chip in with goals and things like that, but but I just do think and maybe need a bit more steel up front, maybe try playing playing with two forwards, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to ask you about up front. Obviously, I watched your video, yes, and you mentioned the strikers, and I've just got to ask you obviously about Rutledge as well. I know he's had a few loan spells now coming to Gateshead. Do you think it's not his time yet, or do you think it will be time to come at some point?
I think the jury's kind of out on that one at the moment, because it just feels like a little bit of late, as though he's just been, bouncing around, the local National League North clubs, you had the South Shield, your Spennymoors, your Darlingtons, your Scarboroughs. So it just feels like he needs, I think a loan spell where he's going to be, fully settled and getting the amount of game time that he does probably need. Because it sounded like he weren't really getting that South Shields, but he's gone in at Spennymoor, and it seems like he's got off to a to a fairly decent start there. I've noticed it. I think he scored in both his first two games. Is that right? So long may that continue for his sake, and obviously we'll see over time if that can be of any benefit to us. If that's not this season, then maybe next season and beyond, really.
Yeah, like I say, like you say, watching the video yesterday, great video. So just ask you about the striker situation, and I think looking at November in the league, Dan, I mean, Emilio sent some notes over before the show, and he kind of said it's a bit topsy turvy, a little bit fizzled out at the moment. When we play in the style of the play consistent, it's looking good, but then all of a sudden we just hit the ball long, it's not looking as good. And played 5-1-1, drawn 2, lost 2, apart from the cup format games, which we'll get on to very shortly as well. But what's your thoughts on November so far?
It's been if I'm being absolutely honest about it, I would have hoped for better. I think if you looked at our fixtures going into it, filed away a team that we do notoriously struggle against, but then again, we are however many points and places above them for a reason, and on that day, we had a lot of shots, but not really that many of them were genuinely testing the goalkeeper or forcing him into that many saves. They were absolutely deadly against us on the counter attack, that kind of thing. So I think we were maybe the cause of our own downfall in that particular game. Aldershot the week after, we played quite well in the first half. We gave away a bit of a cheap goal, but I felt as though going into half time at that one when we were 2-1 up, I thought, the way this game is going, I think if we could have got that third goal, I think that would have, kind of killed the game off there and then. But obviously, Aldershot equalised, and the game were a bit too passive for the remainder of that game. Maidenhead, it was a funny one, Maidenhead, because they actually started that game pretty well. Then that red card absolutely did change everything. But obviously, luckily that day we were like fully able to capitalise on it. They got the red card. We took the resultant free kick, and we're like, I think within the space of a minute, we're like, they'd gone down to 10 men and we'd gone 1-0 up. So yeah, we really pressed that one home from there. The Rochdale, I think, was that was a really, really frustrating one.
Really frustrating on that one.
Them getting a player sent off like reasonably early in the second half. Then within a couple of minutes, we found ourselves 1-0 down. I mean, the way we went 1-0 down, like you quite suddenly cannot legislate for stuff like that. That is just down to pure bad luck with the way the own goal came about. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that just goes whistling like harmlessly out of play. But this is just the one occasion where it, unfortunately for us, ended up in the back of the net, and we're just like. I think that game and the game against Braintree yesterday, where it was kind of, I kind of felt like I was watching the same half of football twice, really, in the sense that we're playing against 10 men, but trying the same things over and over again and expecting different results. Like obviously not able to break down what was like two well drilled backlines, but I just felt as though we had ample time to try and figure out the solutions, and it just felt like weren't sort of trying to look a little bit more, just been a little bit slow when it got to the final third. So it's been frustrating in that respect, but I think quite possibly the fact that obviously this coming week there's no league games at all. It's back-to-back cup games. I mean, I've made my feelings on the National League Cup perfectly well known on social media several times, and then obviously the FA Trophy next weekend. So this might actually be a good opportunity for us to potentially try something new, because ultimately the league is the most important thing. But if we can maybe see if we're missing a trick, one or two players that maybe aren't getting a run of mill in terms of minutes at the minute. And that kind of thing. See if anything like that could work in the league. And I think this could be an opportunity to do that, because the National League Cup on Wednesday. I mean, again, I'm not too kind of fussy about it. And judging by Magnay's interview after that game against Leeds in the last, we can't say last round, can you? In the last group fixture, I'm not convinced that he is and that players are either. But I think that Farsley Celtic game, with all due respect to Farsley Celtic, we don't really have an excuse in that one. I think because, talking about a team that are struggling at the bottom end of the league below, have taken out some absolute hammerings recently. Obviously, one of those being against South Shield, not even playing the home games like in their own county, let alone their own grounds. So yeah, I think that's really one we've got to press on at. But that sort of game might come at the right time. And obviously the week after that it's Woking at home, then Ebbsfleet away, which on paper you'd be looking at and thinking, if we are genuinely serious about pushing on for promotion, and these are the kinds of games that we need to be getting points from. And again, not to sound disrespectful, but looking at the league table, and especially what I saw from Ebbsfleet on the opening day of the season when we played them at home, there's this is kind of the time where we maybe do need to start getting it together a bit more and ultimately getting those results in the bag.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Tony just said, even Tony, hope you keep well as well. He's just mentioned there strictly or non-league, not yeah, to get that strictly turned up. I know I came downstairs. I think we were watching Netflix. I thought, yeah, let's go and talk about non-league football, man. You kind of beat it. But yeah, Dan, like you say, that I love when I come in on a Saturday, wherever I've been out watching, I come in straight away looking for your half time and your full time. It'll see what you put on you. Like you say, you can just feel the passion. But like I say, the last couple of games, I just feel the frustration of what you've been watching. So it was nice to kind of go over those games as well. But obviously, as a football fan, you come to this Christmas period now, and you must be looking forward to Hartlepool, York over the winter period.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially given the fact that And obviously, I missed the first few away games because I was out in Florida at the time. But you think already this season I'll be at Dagenham, Southend.
You did some travelling.
Obviously, Braintree yesterday, which is a bit of an all-day mission. Maidenhead, still got Ebbsfleet to come before Christmas. So that York game, obviously from Northallerton, we're talking 25 minutes, half an hour on the train. It will be a nice change of pace. I'm not gonna lie, like not having to get up at an absolutely ridiculous hour of the morning. The Hartlepool game should be quite a decent occasion for the North East, I think. And I think hopefully it'll be a good crowd on Newcastle at home that same day. I think at the same time as well, which might knock it back a little bit. But I think obviously of us going to for the playoffs, I think Hartlepool obviously trying to sort of steady things a little bit more after a bit of a rough start to the season. I think, I think that's got the potential. I think obviously you saw what happened in the 2 games last season. Obviously Hartlepool winning it in the very last minute with 10 men when it was at the Vic. Then at the International Stadium, I don't know if there's any Hartlepool fans watching. I do apologise for reminding you of that game, but there's always drama in that game, and I think it's. If you're looking for something to do on Boxing Day afternoon, then I think the International Stadium's pretty much going to be the place to be.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And that's where we're going to next, which is Hartlepool, the other North East team in the National League as well. And Tony just mentioned, Murray Magnier was an easy choice to take. May not be last really, but hopefully proves wrong. Like you say, like Dan just mentioned there, a few people kind of questioned already as well. But that'll be going to see what happens over the season and throughout as well. We're getting on to Hartlepool next, and sitting 11th, 29 points. And I think when I kind of wrote this, I kind of put playoffs question mark because, I've seen them. We went a couple of weeks ago, myself, Parter, and Parter's friend, and his dad. And overall, it was a great day. But I've just chatted before the show to Dan, and we kind of said they went down easily. Sorry, they played, and they went down to 10 men about, I think it was about the 18th, 19th minute, and Hartlepool did. Sorry, and you're kind of thinking, right, now they're just going to sit back and East is going to come at them, but it was kind of strange. Eastie kind of turned into the team. It looked like they had the 10 men. They just couldn't get the passing going. And fair play to Hartlepool, and they kept fighting. I think when you play at the Vic and those Pools fans see the team fighting, that almost feels like an extra man. So towards the end, it was pushing and pushing, just trying to get a chance. It felt it was like 11v11 with the fans at Hartlepool. Like you say, met some great people on the day as well. But starting with Hartlepool, obviously start the season, Snarl comes in, and few people kind of said, he could be the man for the job. I think it was not a bad start the first couple of games. It looked very positive, but sacked after 15 games, and a lot of fans towards the end kind of just mentioned boring, no goals, a lot of zeros at the Vic as well. What was your thoughts on Snarl? Do you think it was the right man, Dan, or do you think it was just one of those, another appointment by obviously the chairman Singh?
When he first came in, I thought, this could be a decent appointment because obviously I've seen Gates play against his walking teams, and you always kind of knew what you're going to get in terms of always pressure very high, get forwards with a lot of pace, try and bully you, that kind of thing. But I just think for whatever reason, it just didn't seem to work for him. And I think after a while, I think there was a serious disconnect between himself and the Hartlepool fans. And I think once that connection goes, I think it's it puts any manager of any club in a pretty thankless position, unfortunately. And I think that's what's happened to Darren Sal here. I think it was probably I don't think he's a bad manager at all, but I think I just think certain managers are better suited to certain clubs, and I think in the end it was just proven that him and Hartlepool were just not a good match for each other. But Hartlepool's problem over these last few years, they've never ever been settled, and I think that's been a big reason of why they struggle. Because on paper, they have got a decent team. You look at their front line, you've got Charman, you've got Campbell, you've got Diasarue, you've got Mancini. That is genuinely probably one of the best forward lines you'll see anywhere across the division. But for whatever reason, it's just maybe not clicked as well as they would have liked so far. It'll be interesting to see over the coming weeks and months. Like if we do see any more players coming in, any players that going out. Yeah, I think I don't know if a lot of it's just down to the system that they're playing just isn't really like a good fit for the kind of players that they have got.
Yeah.
But as we said, the amount of times they've changed their managers over the last few years, it's just been absolutely criminal, to be quite honest with you. And they absolutely need something that's going to be a bit more settled. I think long term, really, because I think they've just like, if I'm honest, they've gambled on a bit too many managers. Like it took a massive gamble with Kevin Phillips. Took a massive gamble on Darren Sarr. I thought John Askey could have been a decent fit. I think, like obviously, like almost everywhere he's gone, you know, he's kind of done the job that he was supposed to do. So I thought that could have been a decent one for them, but in the end, you know, I think they bit the bullet on him, which you know, like I know maybe at the time we weren't having the best results, but that's been the problem. Like they've always like made some quite rash decisions whenever they've had a bit of a sort of downturn in form, and that's a huge part of the reason why they kind of find themselves on this endless cycle, really.
Yeah, I mean, when Snarl came in, he brings in obviously Campbell, Luke Charman, like you said, local lads as well. And I thought it's going to take right. And I think, as you mentioned there, the players that they've got, and this kind of goes on to my next question when we talk about obviously Lawrence that stepped up. But I think when Snarl got sacked, it was kind of one of those, well, will they stick with Lawrence or will they go out and get someone new manager? But then you've got to look at who wants to come in and work with Singh. Obviously, is they still want to sell the club? It's just all up in the air at the moment. But I just think a good, I don't know, like a young, hungry manager that comes in with some of them quality, like you say, the attacking players who want to play in a freestyle or kind of on the counter attack. They've got some great players that can really hurt teams. But I wasn't shocked when I seen Lawrence obviously get the job. And I mean, you've seen him around the place and the coach, and I just think he is quite an oldish manager, and I think sometimes you just need their new ideas. But hats off to him. Like you say, they lost 5-3 to York, and then since then 0-0 against Eastleigh. The game that we were at, 4-3 against Solihull, 2-0 against Flyden, and obviously 0-0 again against Barnet. 4th out loss at the moment, and he has kind of turned things around. But I think as Hartlepool fans mentioned there, 2-0 at home, you want to be excited. You want to see goals at the bit, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I've been to Vic a lot of times over the years, whether that be watching Gateshead there or like just going to games as a neutral or whatever. I know when that place gets going, it is like up there brilliant. With the among the absolute best atmospheres you'll see pretty much anywhere in the country. But it kind of works both ways. I mean, like I know, like always on social media after a game. I mean, particularly after a result that the fans won't have wanted. Like you'll always get the same thing. It doesn't matter which club it is. Like you'll get some fans that are like quite critical of it. Others like saying like trying to get things a little bit more into perspective. Yeah. But I think regardless, it does work both ways. Like, I mean, yes, you want the fans to be getting right behind you, like sort of like being positive, willing you on and that kind of thing. But at the same time, like you need to give your fans maybe something to be positive about, and like obviously like in their home games, 2-0 out of 3 maybe isn't like it isn't the most desirable thing in the world. But by the same token, like, look at the away games that they've had. The 5-3 loss at York and a 4-3 win at Solihull. So
it's crazy, isn't it?
It's kind of two opposites, isn't it? Really, like you think at home or they've been quite negative, that kind of thing. Whereas they play away, like it sounds to me like the games have been pretty open, aren't they?
Definitely. I mean, you stand back a little bit, look at 0-0 yesterday against Barnet, sitting second in the league. It's not a bad result in the end, which we kind of got out next with the up the top at the moment. I mean, you look at the top 6, as well, Dan, apart from obviously Gates and Hartlepool that we're just chatting about. And there's some brilliant sides in there this season. I mean, you've got York sitting top 44 points, Barnet sitting on 44 points as well, second. Forest Green there, 42 points, couple of points behind. And like I say, fourth Gateshead, fifth. Oldham, sixth Rochdale. Emilio was just saying as well, Oldham joined for the most. I think it's draws. I think he mentioned. He just said if they can turn them draws into wins. But it's really open up there, that top six. I mean, anyone could win it. I know it's a bit open up, kind of then going down. But looking at that top six from the team that you've seen this season, Dan, who have you been most impressed with?
From what I've watched, I'd probably say in a kind of weird way. I thought maybe Forest Green. I thought because I see when they came to the international stadium, it wasn't the prettiest of games of football.
Yeah.
They managed they came onto us pretty quickly early on in the game. Then they sucker punched us at the end, and obviously pretty much everything in between. We had the overwhelming majority of the play. We just couldn't put the ball away. But a lot of that was down to just how well drilled they were, how organised they were. Yeah, I think they've kind of got what it takes. And I think that was maybe reflected in the result that they got the other week against York. Obviously, I didn't see the Oldham game because I was away. But again, like the obviously draw specialists, but by the same token, they aren't losing. So I think a lot of the time with teams that like go up, it's not so much how many goals they score. A lot of the time it's just down to how difficult they make themselves to beat. And I think that's what Forest Green are doing just now. That's what Oldham are doing. The York obviously putting the goals away for fun. I think especially at home, like they're particularly dangerous. But I've had a couple of results on the road of late that have been a little bit wobbly. So they're going to be an interesting one. I think I think it's beyond all doubt that it will be in that top maybe 4 or 5, something like that at the absolute worst. But yeah, it's been intriguing so far, to say at least. I think you can't really kind of put your finger on who is going to win it at this point. Like, you look at Barnet as well, being very formidable on their own grounds, but away from home, maybe not being the best. They're beaten by York, beaten by us. Obviously they had a lot of chances and that kind of thing in that game, but when it came down to it, we were just the ones on that day that were able to put the ball into the back of the net. I think at this moment in time, I think you can see where the overall qualities of each team is, but by the same token, you're kind of looking at I think there's areas which each one of them could improve, and I think obviously when it comes to the teams playing each other, it could make some very interesting battles because they'll be well aware. Each will be well aware of where the qualities lie, but again, I think that you take us, for example, obviously coming up against York in about a month's time, they'll know where our weaknesses are. We'll know where we could potentially exploit them. So I think if you're neutral watching these games, it'll be absolutely brilliant entertainment.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, we talked about the top 6 there. I mean, this is why I love football. You go from 7th place sitting on 31 points right down to 18th place on 21 points walk, and the 10-point swing between 7th down to 18th. And you look at some of them teams and they're probably thinking, right, we might get 2 or 3 wins, we might be able to push up them playoffs. But then you look at some teams, must be thinking, oh, lose a couple of games, could slip in that relegation zone. It's crazy, that mid-table pack, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think that's been quite apparent with with a lot of the games this season. There hasn't really been that many absolute big hits and hammerings, if you get what I mean. There's been the odd freak scoreline and that kind of thing, but there's been a lot of close games. We've been involved in a lot of close games. I thought Wealdstone have been down there and kind of struggling all season, but I didn't think they were too bad a side at all. When they came to the international stadium, I think they were just lacking in something in the final third, and obviously we were fortunately for us, we were able to get that goal when we played Solihull at the international stadium. That was quite was quite a battle. They played quite well in the first half, created quite a lot of chances, but we kind of forced them to sit in the second half, and luckily for us, managed to get that goal right at the end of the game. Eastleigh were another one. I think we were just saying off air. Obviously, they are kind of up there and have been all season. Yet, if I'm honest, they were kind of one of the least impressive sides, I must say. So it's the thing with the National League is it's such a things can change so quick. And I think a lot of that is impacted by the fact the playoffs goes down to a seventh place. You obviously got footfall going down as well. So it can change at any given point. Like there might be teams that are maybe kind of up there in a minute, but give it 1 or 2 months, and we could be having a completely different conversation about them altogether. You know what I mean?
No, it's going to be really good. I mean, looking at that relegation zone as well. I mean, you look at Ebbsfleet sitting on 9 points. I think we've kind of gone now 6 points off the next team above. But 23rd, Boston on 15 points, up to 19th Braintree at the moment, just a 5-point swing. And like you say, there's any teams that you would say that you've played down there, Dan, where you kind of went, how they're down there, they've actually played well on the day.
Obviously, AFC Fylde absolutely took us apart when we played them. I know they always seem to do, which is really, really frustrating. It's just one of those we've had a poor record against them and just cannot put your finger on why. But from Braintree yesterday, I thought they maybe showed a bit of something. They sacked the manager a bit controversially earlier in the week, which the fans weren't happy about, and they were still singing his name at the game yesterday. But I think they've maybe showed signs of why they can stay off. Like, look at the recruitment drive over the course of the summer. When you've got Inny Young playing up front, and John Akinde as well. So you're always going to have a goal threat in your team, and I thought Braintree, in fairness to them, they did play quite well yesterday. I thought, as I said earlier on, funnily enough, Maidenhead actually looked okay in the first 10, 15 minutes of when we played them. It's just that red card ultimately changed the course of the game completely. Boston weren't the worst team in the world, but a little bit lightweight in the final third, and I think that's probably why they are. And if I'm being honest about it in a minute, I think that, looking at it now, they could well be on the way down. And Ebbsfleet, I must be honest, we played them first game of the season, and I worried for them then. I did wonder, will we see anyone worse than them this season? And so far the answer is quite simply no, because they really were poor in that particular game, and I think that's been a trend that's continued throughout the season. I said in that video that I thought their manager might be one of the first to lose their job. A lot of their fans disagree with me, and the fact of the matter is he was the first to lose his job. But it doesn't seem like the new managers have faring much better. I don't know if there's something going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's happened there, but that is a club that kind of even now kind of look almost ready to be relegated, I'm afraid.
Yeah, definitely. Getting on to our predictions for Hartlepool and Gateshead as well. I was just laughing when you mentioned about firepower, and I was watching the Kettering game earlier today, and Niall Range actually got subbed off, and Marvin Sardell and Gary Hooper got brought on the Kettering town. I was thinking, what am I watching here? Non-league football is just it's amazing at times. But yeah, predictions starting with Gateshead. I know Emilio said he was thinking playoffs for Gateshead. I don't put the pools one on, but down for the two teams, what would be your predictions?
I do think playoffs for Gateshead. I think at this moment in time, it's maybe important to show that what we're on at the minute is maybe just a little bit of a blip. Like every team will go through throughout the course of the season. Obviously, nothing maybe more sinister than that. I think, as I said, the next two, the next three or four games, obviously, if you want to include the cup ones as well, are vitally important. I think. Probably got to take some initiative, because I think particularly the FA Trophy game and the next two league games before Christmas, the bookies and that kind of thing will have us as favourites to win those games. I think possibly in the case of the Farsi Celtic game and the Ebbsfleet game quite overwhelmingly. So, Jeff, I think it's important to take initiative there. Get the overall confidence in the fans back up again. Maybe even something that will give the players a bit of a lift as well, and just I think right, we need to step out of this now. This is the time where we need to kick on. I think I'm confident that will happen. I think I think between now and the end of the season we will get the necessary results to keep us in the playoffs. And I think we'll secure getting ourselves a home tie in the eliminators. So I think at the minute I think we'll finish 5th because I think Oldham probably over the course of the season will take 4th, maybe in 3rd. And I think that the top 3 above them will they stay as it is now. It's just a question of what order will it be. And as for pools, I think lower top half the Hartlepool. I think they've probably maybe left themselves a bit too much to do in terms of getting themselves into the top 7. I might be wrong on that, and they might get a run together. But at this moment in time, I really don't see it. I mean, obviously we just talked about it. Then they've obviously since Lenny Lawrence took over as manager, they've had better results, but I think in the grand scheme of the season, I don't think it is going to be enough. If I'm telling you the truth, so I think it'll be a pretty similar position to what they finished in last season. But I think again for them, I think a lot of things will need going over in the summer, irrespective. So I think Gateshead to finish top 5 and Hartlepool to top 12, maybe top 10 or something like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like you say, Gateshead definitely playoffs and pools. I think they'll push on to that top 10. Maybe he's missed out, like say, 5-6 points of the playoffs come the end of the season. I think they'll have like you say, they've got some good players in there. Young, the goalkeeper, fantastic keeper. Personally, I like him as well. Medine, obviously getting his first goal coming back from that ACL injury the other night as well. And I mean, we seen Lualawa come off the bench in his debut as well, and just a couple of glimpses where he got the ball, and it was just something different where they were trying to pass and keep the ball. Well, Lualawa got the ball, and the first thing he thought was right, and he could turn down and get the defender. And the Hartlepool fans instantly got excited by that, which is it's always good to see as well. So hopefully, like you say, the players that have got there, they might be able to push the one, but I think they've just left themselves just a little bit too much to do in there. But like you say, hopefully both teams have a crack at the end of the season. And like you say, put the North East on the map again. But Dan, thank you very much for coming on the show. Like I say, twice this week, so I really appreciate you giving up your time to come on.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's been fun, hasn't it?
Yeah, like you say, you kind of be talking about North East non-league football. Like you say, back again tomorrow night. 2 more shows left before the winter break. Tomorrow night is our National League North show. Shields, Spenny and Darlow, 3 fans coming up tomorrow night. I'm expecting a bit of a scrap tomorrow night with them fans who are coming on. I think we'll be been a little bit trouble, a bit of X-rated, but we'll see what happens. But again, thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night as well.
Cheers, bye.